My name is Dr. Taryn Mingo, and I'm the lead author representing my co-author, Kiana Haynes, on our 2025 adult span publication, The Perfect Storm, Weathering Black Racial Trauma Across the Lifespan and the Impact of COVID-19. In this brief presentation, I will provide background information that propelled this study and three main takeaways from the article. I want to first acknowledge that I am only 5 generations removed from legalized enslavement in the United States. My mother, born in 1962, just 4 years prior to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, experienced integration into white schools when she was in first grade. My grandmother, born in 1930, among many things, was not permitted to vote until her mid-40s. My great-grandmother was born on a Georgia plantation in 1905. Passing at 96 years of age when I was only in 7th grade. My family background is relevant to this current article as a now 39-year-old Black woman raised in the southern U.S., specifically Athens, Georgia, and a descendant of Africans enslaved in the United States. I share this information because growing up and hearing family members' stories of survival, resilience, and ancestral connection living during the Jim Crow era fueled my interest in this topic, particularly at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The woeful status of Black health across the U.S. had gained national attention. However, very little attention to structural and systemic racism as contributions to the state of Black health was mentioned. In an effort to bring attention to the impact of racial trauma on health, as a counselor educator, I designed and developed this study in 2020 and conducted semi-structured interviews before and after COVID-19 vaccine availability in 2021. In 2022, I invited one of our doctoral students, Kiana Haynes, to assist me in data analysis and publication of findings. In 2020, COVID-19 was recognized as a major health threat to persons 65 years or older, and in March 2020, the CDC found Black Americans, in comparison to whites, were 3.7 times higher to be hospitalized by COVID-19 and were 2.8 times higher to die from COVID-19 related deaths due to pre-existing conditions. Therefore, this study highlights the impact of racism on health, including impacts that contribute to pre-existing conditions. The compounded effect of continuous racial trauma across the lifespan is recognized in this article as weathering. Weathering is a term coined by Arlene Geronimus and is defined as the corrosive effect on physical and mental well-being as a result of exhibiting constant vigilance through extreme levels of coping. This term also embeds the impact of intergenerational trauma on health and mental well-being across generations. Therefore, this study centers the experiences of descendants of Africans enslaved in the U.S., how they navigated life during the Jim Crow era, and their degree of trust in the COVID-19 vaccine. 3 primary takeaways from this article are that, first, 9 DAIS participants over 65 years of age acknowledged weathering racial trauma and its impact on their physical and mental well-being as a result of, relevant to our findings, the impact of dehumanizing experiences plus the impact of long-term racialized healthcare, both of which led to a lack of trust in the COVID-19 vaccine. Second, it is important for counselors and counselors in training who intend to support this unique population that the impact of systemic, structural, and institutional racism was not very long ago. Third, as of January 2024, seniors are eligible to receive Medicare services by licensed clinical mental health counselors through the passage of the Mental Health Access Improvement Act. Consequently, our article seeks to raise awareness amongst counselors who may demonstrate more motivation to work with seniors and or potentially receive more referrals for senior clients. This study has implications for counselors to consider the emotional toll of racism and impact on physical and mental health of Black clients, particularly in advance of making assumptions or claims regarding Black health and or associated coping behaviors. Traditional ways of viewing mental health issues like trauma or grief may not fully encompass the experiences of persons of color. The investigators hope counselors who want to support Black clients, specifically trauma survivors and clients in late adulthood, will gain awareness from participant narratives regarding the compounded effects of continuous racial trauma and coping behaviors of survival among senior Black Americans. While not a monolithic group, the investigators believe specific issues to senior DAIS citizens are relevant in the counseling profession and should be more widely incorporated into counselor education curriculum, especially from a trauma-informed lens. We hope this article can be a start.